if they see the demand from individuals, not just institutions. So this is something that, and when we've gone to them, they've often said, you know, Barclays or Fidelity and others, well, guys, we're just not seeing it. And you know, it's not our job to get out there and take a leap of faith and offer products in the hope that people will come. I personally wish they would, because that shows some courage and vision. And we have some examples of that in the room today. But the big guys are saying, show me the demand, I'll respond, but in the absence of that, bye-bye.
Well, just, if I may, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, the legislation we're working on this year is the chicken and egg bill. I mean, the point is, we can't assure Fidelity or Barclays or Vanguard or anyone else that everyone will sign up. But if we can show them that there are $5 billion in one fund in Florida, and much more than that, we've been working with the Comptroller's Office in New York, where there's much more money, that there are billions of dollars of potential investments, and there is now a requirement that they be offered a tariff-free fund. We can't tell you that they're necessarily going to buy it, but it's got to be offered. Someone else is going to do it. They're going to market it. You've got all the resources in the world to offer it and market it and make money at it. We should all do this because it's the right thing to do. I mean, frankly, so should Fidelity and Vanguard and the rest. But ultimately, they're in the business of making money. We're trying to show them that they can do it by requiring this as an option.
We have time for one more question, but I'd like actually two. But I'd like to say that on behalf of all the organizations in this room, Ted, we will work closely with you, with Frank and Roger, to create this demand for products. I'm sure we can do that.
Hi, my name is Kelly Whiter. I'm the director of the Palm Beach County chapter of the American Jewish Committee. And as one of the co-sponsors of today's program, we're very appreciative to the JCRC and the panelists for all their cogent remarks. I wanted to ask a question of Senator Deutsch. You mentioned this legislation that's being considered. Do you have a copy of the bill that you can make available to us? And is there anything we can do as a community to help engender support for the legislation?
Thank you for asking that exactly the way I asked you to. The answer is we will have a bill number by the end of the week, and we will get it out to everyone here if you could leave your information. And since that's how we're finishing, let me just say one last thing. I want to talk about Mohammed. You know, George Clooney met with the Vice President yesterday to talk about how important the state of Darfur is, right? There are those in this community who have been engaged in trying to stop genocide in Darfur for years. The reason that this is so important is because I don't, as compelling as Mohammed's story is, I don't want to reach the point where a year from now or 3 years from now, there is joining us at these events an individual or two or several who have stories to tell about what happened when the Iranians acquired the bomb, what happened when the Iranians chose to use nuclear weapons. This is urgent. And just as, to close with comments that Frank made earlier, in our community, there are more, in South Florida in particular, there are more Holocaust survivors than there are anywhere in the country. And for them, we have an obligation to tell them that when there is genocide going on in the world right now, we have to say never again, and we have to do everything we can to stop it. And when we have other nations in the world that are bent on destroying Israel, the United States, and our way of life, it is our obligation to stand up again on their behalf and say never again.
As you're thinking about this and returning home to reconnoiter your portfolios and the situation persuasion, I would really direct you to an educational website to learn a bit more, which is www.terrorfreeinvesting.com. All one word, terrorfreeinvesting.com, and it'll give you, I think, some guidance.
On the program.
And we have it on the program as well.
Can I just, a last point, because I completely agree with and associate with what George just said. The only other thing I would add is this isn't just about the generation that lived through the Holocaust. You can say that. It's not just about our generation. It's about the ones that are to come. And one thing history teaches us, and why never again is such an important message, is if we don't deal with these dangers in our time, there will be an even greater affliction on the people we love, children and grandchildren that we hope to bequeath all this to. So, for all these reasons, I thank you so much for taking on the mission here of trying to help create demand. It can make a difference. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you for coming.